Friends, I greet you on my channel, and today I will tell you about the most terrifying places in Japan, where one truly should not go alone, not even thrill seekers. Behind the perfect facades, silence and beauty of this country lie places where even most Japanese people never set foot, where the air itself can be deadly, where the wind knocks one down and a single step to the side can become the last. These are not legends, not scary tales, and not mysticism. Everything you will see really happened. From a mine where one mistake cost hundreds of lives, to an island that not even the rich or tourists are allowed to visit. From a telephone booth standing on the edge of a cliff, to a resort where nature itself has become deadly. This is Japan you will not read about in guidebooks. And if you ever feel tempted to visit these places, believe me, you really should not. Please do not forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. I would be very grateful for your support. The telephone booth on the Tojinbo cliffs. Imagine that you are standing at the edge of enormous cliffs. The wind is so strong that it literally knocks you off balance. Below are jagged rocks, and beneath them waves crash loudly. This place is in Fukui prefecture and is called Tojinbo. At first glance, it seems like just a beautiful natural spot where tourists come to admire the view. Photographers, artists and couples visit here. The cliffs are truly impressive. They are made of basalt columns that look as if carved by hand. But there is another side to this place that almost everyone in Japan knows about. Tojinbo is considered one of the most dangerous cliffs in the country. Tragedies often happen here. That is why, among the cliffs, there stands a seemingly ordinary white telephone booth with glass walls. Only nearby hang small signs reading, "You are not alone," and "Call if it's hard for you." Inside the booth are phone numbers for hotlines and sometimes even coins left by someone so that any person can make a call, even without money. This booth did not appear here by chance. In the early 2000s, a former police officer named Okinoshima noticed that too many tragedies were occurring on these cliffs. He decided that he could not just stand by and watch. Since then, he has come to Tojinbo every day to patrol the area. He speaks with people who stand at the edge, simply approaches them, asks how they feel, and offers to have coffee together or just talk. Sometimes that alone is enough for a person to change their mind. Today, Okinoshima has led a small organization for many years that helps people in difficult situations. They patrol the cliffs, make sure no one gets too close, and if they see someone in distress, they offer help and support. Thanks to them, hundreds of people have received a chance to start their lives anew. At the same time, the cliffs of Tojinbo themselves are genuinely dangerous. They are high, the wind here is strong, and the stones are wet and slippery. Guardrails are not installed everywhere, and even experienced tourists sometimes lose their footing. Therefore, if you ever decide to come here, please be very careful. Do not approach the very edge, especially if it is windy or raining. The best way to admire the cliffs is from a safe distance, from a viewing platform or by taking a boat that sails along the cliffs. The view from the water is simply breathtaking and, most importantly, safe. Today, Tojinbo is not only a place with beautiful views, it has become a symbol of both human pain and human kindness. People come here not only for photos or walks, but also to remind themselves, even if it seems there is no way out, there is always someone willing to help. Friends, have you ever been to truly dangerous places? Perhaps somewhere that looked calm and beautiful, but deep inside you felt unease? Write in the comments where it was and what you felt there. I am genuinely interested in hearing your stories. The resort where nature kills. At first glance, this place looks like paradise. Mountain slopes, steam rising from hot springs, the smell of sulfur, and snow melting right on the ground. This is Kokaya Yuansen, an old hot spring resort. In February 2025, a tragedy occurred here. 3 employees of one of the hotels who were inspecting equipment near a natural spring never returned. Later, rescuers found their bodies near a slope along a service path. According to Japanese media, the concentration of hydrogen sulfide, a toxic gas often emitted near volcanic springs, was especially high that day. Because of snow and weak wind, the gas did not disperse and likely accumulated in a low area. The people simply did not have time to realize that the air had become deadly. Hydrogen sulfide is an invisible gas with a rotten egg smell, but when there is too much of it, a person stops sensing the odor and quickly loses consciousness. It is heavier than air and can accumulate in depressions, under slopes, in old mines, and near pipes carrying hot water. That is why, in areas with technical pipelines or natural steam outlets, one must never walk without permission and supervision. This does not apply to the public baths where tourists relax. The Kokai Onsen Resort is open and safe if you simply come to soak in a hot bath and enjoy the mountain view. The danger lies in the restricted areas around the natural springs, where visitors are normally not allowed, places where technicians service pipes, pumps, and steam vents. One must never enter those areas, not even for beautiful photos or curiosity. So, if you ever visit such a mountain onsen, do not try to approach the place where the steam rises directly. The darkest place in Japan, where tourists are not allowed. Now let us talk about a place that looks like a movie set for an apocalypse. This is Hashima Island, also known as Gunkanjima. On the map, it looks tiny, but once it was a real city in the middle of the sea. Today, you can only visit it with an official guided tour, and only a small section of the island is accessible. The rest is too dangerous for life. Hashima once belonged to the Mitsubishi company, and coal was mined here. On this small patch of land, they built mines, residential buildings, a school, and a hospital, everything needed for a full-fledged city. At its peak, more than 5,000 people lived here, but in the 1970 seconds, coal mining became unprofitable. The mines closed, and people left within just a few days. Since then, Hashima has turned into a ghost town. The sea, air, rains, and typhoons have destroyed the concrete buildings over the years. Now the island looks like a frozen frame from a film. Empty windows, collapsed staircases, cracks in walls, and rusted steel beams. Visiting on your own is far too dangerous. Most buildings are in critical condition and could collapse at any moment. Floors and stairs are rotten, and beneath them lie old mine shafts into which one could simply fall. Stones crumble, concrete breaks apart, and even the tourist paths used for guided tours require constant repairs. You cannot go there without a guide or permission. Any step of the path could end in tragedy. Everything is overgrown with grass, and the walls bear stains from sea winds. Although tourists are brought to Hashima, the island remains closed and dangerous. One must not enter buildings, climb on structures, or touch anything. This is one of those places best admired from afar, because the island's beauty is deceptive. The Mike mine disaster. Imagine November 1963. The quiet Japanese city of Oumuta, Fukuoka Prefecture. Here stood one of the country's largest mines, Mitsui Mike, a symbol of Japan's post-war industrial power. But it became the site of one of the deadliest tragedies in coal mining history. On November 9, an explosion of coal dust occurred in the mine. The blast was so strong that it was heard even in neighboring towns, and from the mine shaft rose a pillar of fire and black smoke. The building at the shaft's mouth was literally blown apart, and houses within 300 meters were seriously damaged. At that moment, more than 1,400 workers were underground. The explosion and subsequent spread of carbon monoxide killed 458 people, and nearly 840 more suffered severe poisoning. Many did not even realize what had happened. The first shift had not yet come up to the surface, and the second was just descending. The cause turned out to be terrifyingly simple. Some minecarts had derailed and raised clouds of coal dust. A spark and the dust ignited. The company's management did not consider coal dust dangerous since the mine was not a gas mine. Because of that, no one had even thought about protection from such explosions. What is especially shocking is that, a few days later, Mitsui's executives spoke at a press conference more about company losses and financial damages than about the hundreds of dead miners. Journalists wrote that it seemed as if the people themselves were being deliberately ignored. The tragedy shocked all of Japan. Later, a documentary film was made, and the mine continued operating for several more decades, finally closing only in 1997 after more than 120 years of work. Today, the site is closed, and visiting it is extremely dangerous. The forbidden island of Okinoshima. Now let us move to a place you cannot visit under any circumstances. Even if you greatly wish to, neither tourists, nor bloggers, nor even most Japanese themselves are allowed there. This is Okinoshima Island, off the coast of Fukuoka Prefecture. On the map, it looks like a small green patch of land, but for the Japanese, it is one of the country's most sacred sites. On the island stands a wooden shrine, and it is believed that the island itself is a deity. That is why Okinoshima is closed to outsiders, and setting foot on it would mean breaking ancient religious taboos. Women are strictly forbidden to step on the island. The reasons for this taboo are not entirely clear. Some say it is connected to notions of ritual purity. Others believe that long ago only men, sailors, and priests lived and served there, and the custom simply became tradition over time. Even men cannot easily visit. Several decades ago, about 200 men were selected once a year to go there. Before landing, they underwent purification, completely undressing and washing in the sea. They could bring nothing with them, and above all, they were forbidden to take anything back. Not a stone, not a leaf, not even a grain of sand. Everything belonging to the island must remain there. After returning, they were not allowed to tell anyone what they had seen. Since 2017, when Okinoshima was inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List, landings have completely ceased. Now only priests who maintain the shrine may stay there. For everyone else, it is an entirely closed territory. Attempting to land there without permission is not only illegal but considered an insult to the local gods and culture. Even Japanese people living nearby treat this place with deep respect and never approach it. Each of these places is a reminder that behind Japan's calm appearance lie immense power and fragility at once. If you ever find yourself near one of these locations, please remember, sometimes the greatest form of respect is not to cross the boundary, even when you feel the urge to look just a little further. Take care of yourselves and respect the places where history and nature demand silence. Friends, thank you very much for watching. Write in the comments which of these places seemed the most frightening to you and which one intrigued you the most. Please subscribe and like this video. I will be truly grateful for your support. Take care and see you in the next videos. Bye!